Hello everyone and welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. I am RoyalMixGaming and today we're going to be talking about the best archer investment guide, and I'm going to give you a few different options on what you can do depending on your playstyle with archers and if you want to invest into archers. So to start off with, every player in the game should start the game off maxing your YSG. He is going to be good until Season of Conquest and then good until after, he's good in Season of Conquest right now, so it's really good early game as well. So first off, you're going to max your YSG. Then we're going to branch off into a couple different options depending on your playstyle, okay? If you feel like you can get Nebuchadnezzar from MGE, you are able to obtain him in MGE in some way, shape, or form, able to at least unlock him. He is going to give you the best AoE option for your YSG, so that in the open field you do Nebu and then YSG secondary, and then you can do tons of AoE damage because Nebu has a frontal AoE up to 5 targets. It is exactly like Ethelflaed's AoE. It hits 5 targets, does 1500 damage factor, and then Nebu can also be used as a rally commander with other commanders that I'll go over here in a second. And you can do Nebu 5-5-1-5 until you expertise him if you're wanting to rally. And then another option that you can do if you think you cannot get Nebu off of MG and you just simply cannot get him, you can do Ramses or Gilga. So I'm going to go over Ramses first, then we'll go over Gilga after this. So Ramses, you compare him with YSG as a 5-5-5-1 because you want to expertise Ramses, but these first 3 skills are pretty good, and then the last one is a healing factor and a possible chance to do a defense increase. So the first 3 skills are guaranteed, the last skill is just to heal and a chance to get defense, which is still really good. It's just you need to expertise him basically to get all the benefits of all that. And then his expertise gives you the heal immunity and improves upon his damage factor over time. So once you've maxed your YSG, you can get either Nebu or Ramses, depending on whether you get him from MG for Nebuchadnezzar or you get Ramses off the wheel, and you pair those with YSG. Another option that you can do is go ahead and go for Gilga, which is also on the wheel. And the difference between Gilga and Ramses is mostly the debuff they provide. So Gilga does a 1500 damage factor and reduces the enemy's health by 30%. Ramses does, I think it's a 30% defense reduction, and then the damage over time. And then Gilga has a blood craving debuff, which affects any target that's healing. So the main rally that's been used right now is Gilga and Nebuchadnezzar, because Gilga's going to hurt Zeno, which is one of the main infantry garrisons that right now in 2022, and it's going to damage Zeno when she heals. Nebu does good damage and provides AoE and is a little tanky, so that's a good rally pair. But if you're wanting to do Gilga, it's going to be slightly different and slightly less tankier than Ramses because he doesn't have skill damage reduction options like Ramses does. It's going to be very similar to Edward, which I wouldn't recommend Edward at all to the majority of players unless you're a Mega Whale in KVK 1 or 2 and you want to rally with Edward and YSG, or Edward and Tommy. That would be the only way you would get Edward. But Gilga is another option as a slightly less tanky but more utility march in a way, because you're going to be able to provide a different debuff than most of the other commanders that are in archers, because he provides a health debuff, which is a better debuff than a defense debuff by a little bit. So he's going to be a little less tanky, but provide a health debuff and cause any troops on the field that heal at all to take damage over time, take a damage factor from his blood craving debuff. So it's another option that you can do in open field, and you can pair him with YSG at first, and then once you have more commanders, you can always do him with Cyrus. So like I was saying, you're going to want to do YSG first. If you want the tankiest option, you're going to do Ramses. He's on the wheel, easiest to obtain probably. And then if you can get Nebuchadnezzar, it's going to be your highest AoE damage, and it's going to give you a little bit different option, be a little bit more squishy, but have more AoE and hit more targets. Gilga is going to bring a little bit of a different utility where he's also used in rallies. He provides a health debuff, which is slightly different from Ramses, but he's a little bit less tanky. So those are your 3 main options after you've done your YSG that I would recommend to you. Once you've done those, then you can start to think about who do you pair Ramses, Nebu, or Gilga with after that? So you can pair Ramses, Nebu, or Gilga with Cyrus if you want to, once you've done the other two that I've mentioned, depending on whether or not you've done more than one of them or something like that, because you can always pair Ramses and Nebu together, Nebu and Gilga together, Ramses and Nebu, Gilga and Ram go together too. So all these pairs go well together. It's just going to depend on what you're wanting to do. So the next commander that you're going to do, if you haven't went and done some of the other commanders after you've done one of the other ones, would be like Cyrus. So you can do Cyrus after Ramses and put Ramses and Cyrus together, because Cyrus provides a lot of rage, a lot of damage, and he's going to help Ramses do even more single target damage and do a lot more damage and protect Cyrus. So Ramses is going to protect Cyrus. You can always put them with Nebu or Gilga too. It's just not going to be as tanky, and it's going to be a little bit different because they don't do damage over time. And Cyrus is really looking for somebody that does damage over time because he helps the target take additional damage over time increased, which helps Ramses too. So once you've done something like one of those options where you've done Ramses, Nebu, or Gilga, and if you decided you wanted to do Cyrus, you can, or you can go a different route after that, and you can try and do Amani or Artie, but I would recommend you do Artemisia first, so that you can pair Artemisia with some other commander like YSG, or one of your other archer commanders, depending on what you're feeling. And then you can go ahead and do Amanitore so that you can put them both together because they are a made pair. And this is kind of a slightly different track than the other commanders because they can be used for garrison. So if you're wanting a garrison that you can plop into a flag or something, Amani and Artie is a made pair for garrison and open field, and they do really, really well. But this is going to be slightly different because you're not doing it with YSG or anything like that. So what I would recommend is you do either Ramses, Nebu, or Gilga after you've done your YSG. And if you're wanting a pair that's made pair that does a lot of damage and can be used for garrison, Amanitore and Artie is a good pair for that. If you're wanting a rally, it's Gilga and Nebu, or Gilga and Ramses. If you're wanting a better open field pair, you can do something like Ramses and Cyrus that does a lot of single target damage, or you can pair Nebu and Ramses together too, and then try and find a different pair for your YSG. So like I was saying, the order is going to be do your YSG first, pick Ramses, Nebu, or Gilga, and then you can possibly go and do Artemisia or Amanitore if you want to later on, unless you're wanting to do garrison right away, and that's up to you. So there are a lot of different archer pairs that you can do, as I've stated in this video. I just wanted to give you guys a kind of overview of what the best investment order would be for archers. So like I was saying one more time, YSG, you pick Ramses, Gilga, or Nebu, and then you can either go a couple different routes and do a rally pair, or you can do a garrison pair with Amani Artie after you paired one of those three together with YSG, and then you can do a garrison pair, a rally pair, or another open field pair, and do some of these other ones and mix and match different commanders together. But I wouldn't split. Amani and Artie would be the only one I wouldn't split apart because they're a made pair. Everybody else can go well with each other if you put Ramses, Nebu, or Gilga first, because then they protect the other commander that's behind them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I did leave Tamaris out because she's kind of a niche commander. She can go well with Ramses or Artemisia, but she's kind of a niche commander that most people don't have. If you have her, it's a great utility commander, but I'm just going to leave her out because at the end of the day, unless you're really wanting a skill damage debuff, it's not a priority for most people, I would say, as a commander to have, or expertise, or even bother with. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions on how I described anything, you want to know some different pairs or anything like that. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you on the next one.